Hey everyone, and welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Today we're tackling a hormone you might think you know,
Okay.
progesterone. But trust me,
I'm intrigued.
this deep dive is going way beyond the pregnancy hormone basics. We're going deep into some fascinating research that reveals its hidden superpowers, and believe me, there are a lot.
Progesterone's reach is really impressive, yeah. It
Mm.
impacts way beyond reproduction. Everything from brain health to strong bones. Fascinating stuff.
It's like every time I learn something new about hormones, it's like discovering a hidden network, you know? All these connections between different parts of our health.
It's true.
But before we get to the really mind-blowing stuff,
Here.
let's start with the basics. What exactly is progesterone, and where does it come from?
So, simply put, progesterone is a steroid hormone, mainly produced in the ovaries after ovulation. It all begins with the corpus luteum.
The what?
Corpus luteum, it's a temporary structure that forms after an egg is released. Think of it like a pop-up factory for progesterone.
Okay, so it's like a specialized production hub. What happens next?
Well, if pregnancy happens, the placenta steps in, takes over as the primary production site, makes sure there's a steady supply of progesterone throughout the pregnancy.
A well-coordinated handoff. Impressive. And what about the actual creation process? Is it true that it all starts with cholesterol?
Exactly. Cholesterol goes through these amazing transformations in the body and, ta-da, progesterone.
Like a biological magic trick. And of course, hormone levels are anything but static. So how do progesterone levels actually fluctuate throughout the menstrual cycle?
It's all about balance. Progesterone levels are beautifully orchestrated by other hormones, mainly luteinizing hormone,
Yeah.
or LH.
LH, right.
When there's an LH surge, which triggers ovulation, the corpus luteum gets the signal time to ramp up progesterone production, gets the uterus ready for a potential pregnancy.
And if pregnancy doesn't occur,
Progesterone levels naturally drop right back down, and that signals the body to begin the menstrual cycle. It's this delicate dance to keep everything balanced.
it really is amazing how these hormones work together, a perfectly synchronized dance. But you mentioned that progesterone's influence goes way beyond just the reproductive system. It's like it has a whole other life we don't know about.
Exactly. And this is where it gets super interesting. One of progesterone's lesser-known roles is acting as a brain bodyguard.
Hold on, a brain bodyguard.
You heard right.
Now that has my attention. Tell me more.
Well, research shows that progesterone may have neuroprotective properties. Basically, it could help shield the brain from damage.
So it's not just about like bouncing back from major brain events. Could this brain bodyguard role also impact our like day-to-day mental well-being?
Absolutely. You know that feeling of calm, relaxation we sometimes crave?
Oh, yeah.
Progesterone might be behind those chilled-out vibes.
Wait, seriously, is progesterone like a natural chill pill our brains produce?
It definitely plays a role. Progesterone influences something called GABA receptors in the brain.
GABA receptors?
Yeah, they act like dimmer switches for neural activity.
Okay, break it down for us non-neuroscience folks. What do those receptors actually do?
Imagine them as regulators that calm down those nerve cells, reducing that excitability.
Go.
Progesterone, and particularly its metabolite called allopregnanolone, interacts with these receptors to promote that sense of tranquility and potentially even help counteract anxiety.
So that explains why getting enough sleep, which is when our bodies naturally produce more progesterone, right,
Right.
makes us feel more level-headed. Makes sense. But are there other everyday examples of progesterone's influence? I mean, we see it in skincare products all the time.
Exactly. Ever notice how some lotions and creams promise to boost skin elasticity?
Yeah, yeah.
You guess it, progesterone plays a role there too. Maintaining that youthful bounce in our skin, another one of its many talents.
I like this hormone more and more.
Hmm.
Strong bones, happy skin. What else? What else? Any other surprising benefits we should know about?
Well, there's some interesting research suggesting progesterone may also influence sleep patterns. Yeah, this area needs more research, but
Wow.
it's intriguing.
Okay, so that might explain why a good night's sleep can sometimes feel elusive.
Could be.
But we have to talk about something that comes up a lot when we're talking about hormones and health, right? And that is breast cancer. There's just so much information out there. It can be really confusing, to try to make sense of it all. What's the real story with progesterone and breast cancer risk?
It's a crucial topic, for sure, but it's complex. We can't just label progesterone as, good or bad for breast cancer risk.
Right.
It's important to distinguish between natural progesterone,
Mhm.
the kind our bodies make, and the synthetic progestins that are found in some medications.
Right, because even though they sound really similar, they're not the same thing.
Exactly. And while some studies have linked synthetic progestins, especially those used in certain types of hormone replacement therapy, to an increased risk of breast cancer, the research on natural progesterone it's not as clear-cut.
Interesting.
In fact, some studies even hint that it might actually have protective effects.
So it really isn't a one-size-fits-all situation.
No, not at all. It's complex, and individual risk factors, they vary. It's crucial to talk to your healthcare provider to make those informed decisions about any kind of hormone therapy or contraception.
Absolutely. Personalized healthcare is so key. Now, for our male listeners who might be thinking, wait, isn't this a women's health topic? Hold on. Progesterone isn't just for women, right?
Exactly. Men, don't tune out yet. Progesterone has important roles in male physiology, too. It's just, slightly different ways.
Okay, spill the beans. What does progesterone do for men?
Well, for one thing, it's crucial for healthy sperm function. Works behind the scenes to help those swimmers, reach their destination.
Huh. So it's a fertility friend for both sexes.
That's right.
I love that. Anything else?
It's also really important in the production of testosterone. In fact, progesterone is actually a precursor to testosterone.
Wow, so progesterone is involved in making the hormone we often associate with masculinity. That's interesting.
It is. Breaks down some stereotypes for sure. And while research on progesterone in men's health is still, it's relatively new, it's a very promising area of study.
Sounds like there's still so much to uncover about how progesterone affects men's health throughout their lives. I mean, this has already been such an eye-opening conversation, and we've only just scratched the surface of progesterone's story.
Oh, we've just started. Now, are you ready to journey back in time with me?
I'm ready. Take me back.
Let's go back to how we got from discovering progesterone in plants to having it readily available as a medication.
Okay, so we're going way back. Progesterone's origin story, from fields to pharmacies. Sounds like a medical mystery.
It is fascinating. It all starts with Russell Marker, a brilliant chemist who back in the 1940s found a way to synthesize progesterone from plant steroids.
Hold on. From plants, you're telling me my hormone supplements have something in common with, like, the produce aisle at the grocery store?
You got it. Marker's research was all about yams, specifically ones from the Dioscorea family.
Okay.
These yams have a compound called diosgenin, and through this series of chemical transformations, it can be converted into progesterone.
So yams were like the original progesterone factories.
That's incredible.
It's incredible.
It was a huge discovery. Marker's work made it possible to actually produce progesterone on a large scale, which made hormone therapy accessible to millions.
Now that is a game changer. But were there any concerns about relying just on yams for this production?
Definitely. Getting diosgenin from yams was a whole process, multi-step, and there were definitely worries about sustainability. And, what if there were supply chain issues?
Right, of course.
So naturally, scientists started looking at other options, alternative methods, and thankfully they found one.
Okay, tell me more. What's the alternative?
Turns out those soy phytosterols,
So wait, what?
they're compounds found naturally in soybeans, and those can be used to produce progesterone too.
Interesting.
Soybeans were a much more readily available source and sustainable.
That's great. It's like they diversified the sources, made sure there was a stable supply to meet the demand. So bringing it back to today, what do these discoveries really mean for people who are looking into hormone therapy or contraception?
It completely changed the game. These breakthroughs really revolutionized reproductive health care. It paved the way for developing all these different hormone therapies and contraceptive options that have had a massive impact on people's lives everywhere.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it. Something that started with yams in a lab has led to these huge advancements in healthcare. As we wrap up this deep dive on progesterone, what are some key things you hope our listeners take away?
I think the biggest one is just a deeper appreciation for how incredibly complex, how influential progesterone really is. It's not just one thing.
Right. It's definitely time to retire that old pregnancy hormone label. Progesterone deserves way more recognition for all that it does in both men and women.
Absolutely. And as we've talked about, understanding that difference between natural progesterone and the synthetic progestins, that's so important, especially when it comes to making those informed decisions about our health.
100%. Personalized healthcare is key. What about the future of progesterone research? What are scientists still trying to figure out?
Well, one area that's really exciting is its potential in treating things like traumatic brain injuries and other neurological conditions.
Really?
Imagine being able to use its neuroprotective powers to help people recover and heal.
Wow.
And of course, there's still so much we don't know.
It seems like it.
And then there's research being done on how to optimize the ways we deliver progesterone, how to get the most benefit while minimizing risks.
Right, finding that balance is so important. This has been incredible. So many aha moments, so many fascinating insights. Progesterone 101.
Right. Amazing hormone. Can't wait to see what other discoveries are ahead.
And on that note, we'll leave you with this: what surprised you most about progesterone today? What questions are swirling around in your mind? Take some time to reflect, maybe do some more research. And until next time, happy learning, everyone.